I already know in general, I'm generalizing. I already know the type of family and patient and the expectations that the caller, the parent, expects. They're going to expect like a lot of communication. They're going to expect, promptness of the therapist's arrival. So now it's like I got to tell my therapist, hey, like the client at this address, like you need to wear professional clothes. I know you always do, but I'm just reminding you, like you need to like be, your hair groomed and like if you have a rude prospective patient,
Yeah, yeah. Let's go into that.
charging them I called it something different privately. I'm sure you don't want to mention that, but I said like a rude person tax. So if you get a rude caller, they want to do business with you because they were referred by a very big physician or hospital group, whatever, and they're like, we heard about you from so and so. So it's not like they're just picking anyone.
Yeah.
They called you for a reason. They're like, you were referred by so and so, and yeah. So do you want me to tell the story, or you want to just kind of go into like what you would do with this type of a personality calling in?
Well, I want you to kind of give some context, but I'll go a little bit here. Just like with pricing, so you could go the route of saying, hey, this is surge pricing. When competition goes up, when more consumers want a limited service, you raise the price. Like that's standard market dynamics across all of history. But if you call it surge pricing, you're going to get hammered on social media. So you can't call it surge pricing. Instead, you say, this is our price, but we're going to discount the slower times. We're going to give you a 40% discount, 50% discount if you choose less popular times. This is something similar. So when you have a high maintenance, complex individual, and when I say complex, I mean they expect more than the typical customer. It's not that you're charging them more, because that would be unethical and that would be bad. It's that this is our premium pricing for somebody who has the needs of somebody like you, and everybody else can get discount pricing because they don't have quite the standard that you have. So that would be my approach to something like that if I was an
Oh,
account.
you know what? I think that's a great idea to use. Like, let's say on a future phone call, I could use that. Okay, I could use the higher dollar amount as a price anchor and be like, well, do you have these expectations, and do you need us to, you're out of state and you're calling for your son or daughter. That happens all the time. Or it's you're out of state and you're calling for your mother or father, right? It could be the parent sometimes is calling for a 20, 30-year-old.
Yeah.
As an adult.
Which first, that right there is a red flag. Right? That right
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. It typically is a red flag. It is typically continues to be a red flag. Sometimes the family is calling the adult is calling for their mother or father who's 60, 70, 80, but the son or daughter is out of town, out of state, and they want weekly notes and things to be sent, and sometimes there's like multiple family members. So it's someone who's calling in that's 50 or 60 years old. They're calling in for their mother or father. But then there's like, their brother or sister. So sometimes it's like two or three people in the mix. And it's like a group text or it's a group email. And they want, notes sent weekly or whatever. So yes, I could say to prospective patients today, if you don't need any of that, like that cost, and if you want, we can get into some of the pricing that I pitched. That costs this, but it doesn't sound like you need all that. But I'm going to say it to you, Tony. I'm going to say it to you over the phone and say, This is how much this costs. You hear it. It actually would be a price anchor. We price anchor anyway. We price anchor by saying the weekend visits are a little bit more expensive and the weekday visits are a little less expensive. Weekend visits are premium and weekday visits are this. So I could potentially say that dollar amount on every single phone call as a price anchor, and most of the time, folks are not going to pay that because what I sent to you guys is the highest that I've ever charged ever, and we can get into some of the details of why and what else, what other expectations. But part of the story was the parent was calling us to get a portable treatment table. Purchase with their card, not my card, purchase with their card, and then sent to the home in Manhattan. But it's a walk up like a brownstone, so it's not, there's no doorman or anything like that. So it's not like I can just have it shipped there. And then the client wants someone to kind of like bring the treatment table inside, walk it up the stairs, set it up, whatever, and have it ready for when my therapist actually is going to be doing the visit. So, of course, you could use TaskRabbit type folks for that. You could have your physical therapist do it and pay them for that. But that's kind of the situation. And from this phone call, do you, as a little cliffhanger, do you want me to go into the pricing? I'm happy to disclose it.
Yeah, I think that's what people need to hear, because they will not believe it in most cases.
Yeah. So because of pattern recognition and hearing some of these things on the phone call, and what the actual part of the decision, one of the decision makers, even though the patient is an adult legally, I said, well, yeah, so we have a concierge fee of $950 per month, and then it's $550 per visit. Now,
nice.
That is for this case, and now we're going to call that, you're helping me call that, like, that's like our standard pricing now, is what we're on the fly. You're helping me say this is our standard pricing. If you're outside of New York City or San Francisco or Chicago or, I don't know, Miami or something, I know those dollar amounts sound insane. I get it. I can't even believe they said yes. But then again, I did Google the family, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. They have very expensive homes that are on Google. Let's just put it like that. So
real quick, let's pause right there a second. Let me break down a couple of things. So I've been going down this new grad and student PT rabbit hole on TikTok. I sent you a couple of videos. And one of the things that, recent grads, new grads, students, I don't think they fully comprehend. You said it when you said pattern recognition, whether we're talking clinical or personality. Like, we can generally understand the pattern of the individual coming in the door, talking to us on the phone pretty quickly, because we've got so many years of examples that have kind of confirmed. Now, do they establish a bias? Yes, 1,000,000%. I try to recognize my biases. I have them. I try to put them on a shelf, but I don't completely ignore them, because they do help guide clinical decision-making, business decision-making. And I think the true value between you and a new grad who might be just as clinically skilled as you is the fact that you can layer on these other deeper analyses of the personality. Even for you, like, we do this at times, we have done it, where you go on the property tax records, you see where they live, you see their house, you find all of this information. It's not just about saying, well, how much money can I charge? How can I maximize my rate? It's also about, who is this person? What can I expect? How can I kind of predict a little bit about what to expect from this individual based on the information I can collect?
What are they going to demand of me in terms of time or effort, and what are their expectations? I think all that goes into it. Yes.
Okay, so keep going.
So they said yes, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell Jimmy and Tony. That is crazy." So yeah. Anyway, we're in the process of the table. The portable treatment table has been purchased and will be sent there. But part of that about the impromptu boosting of prices and adding a monthly concierge fee, which I've always kind of thought about, whether annual or monthly. But the caller was saying, well, because she was like, oh, you bring a portable treatment table or, whatever. And I was like, no, we don't, because we're, our therapists are in the subway and all that. And they're like, well, you were referred to us by so-and-so, and, she's not going to get treated on a couch or her bed or a carpeted floor on a yoga mat. Those are things that we usually say on the phone call, like, and we have some clients, by the way, that, like, they've been with us for like a year or two, and they're fine being on a carpeted floor or a yoga mat or their couch or whatever. And they're fine with not buying a portable treatment table, because some clients just don't want to have, they don't have the extra room for it. They don't want to slide it under the bed. they don't have room in a closet, whatever. And so this caller was, I said to you guys, almost like berating me about like, and also saying like, here's a tip here's a tip to improve your business model for clients like us. And I was like, oh, I was like, wait till you hear the new pricing.
Yeah. So in your
pricing didn't phase her. Yeah,
in your own words, in your own mind, like forget the sales part of it, forget the customer, forget all the other stuff. Like, how do you rationalize in your own mind why you would charge almost $1,000 a month fee on top of the per visit fee? Like, what does that allow you to do? What is the benefit, to the customer for paying a fee like that?
So directly, how I make sense of it is if a parent is calling in for their child, but the child is an adult, I already know in general, I'm generalizing, I already know the type of family and patient and the expectations that the caller, the parent, expects. They're going to expect like a lot of communication. They're going to expect, promptness of the therapist's arrival. So now it's like I got to tell my therapist, hey, like the client at this address, like you need to wear professional clothes. I know you always do, but I'm just reminding you, like you need to like be, your hair groomed and like you need to be prompt. You can't just be 30 minutes late and not text them. Like if you're stuck in the subway, you need to be texting the client. Like we need to be fully prompt on every aspect. So professional dress, arrival, expectations, that's with the adult client. But then the caller, the parent, might also want, I don't know, they might want some, weekly or monthly or whatever check-ins. So all of that takes time and effort, even if it's mine, even if the therapist is sending emails or texts or whatever to the parent. The client is an adult, right? So I think I'd have to get and this is rare, but I think we'd have to get like a HIPAA release sign. I'm not sure because they're an adult. So it's like I already can tell that I'm going to be not spinning a lot of plates, but there might be a lot of extra random admin requests and, burdens and tasks and things to do. So you pitch this type of pricing because I've anticipated this. I've been in these homes before. I've treated both of these types of people before. I've treated the parent. I've treated the son or daughter of this type of a parent. I know exactly what might be demanded of us. And I thought, there might be some pushback on the price, and there wasn't. And I joked with you guys that like I didn't ask for enough money, haha. But I think also this pay structure might also get their attention because when I happened to call the caller, when I called the parent, she was receiving physical therapy somewhere else. Like she was literally in a physical therapy visit. Yeah. So I also know that most likely that the physical therapist she was going to does not charge like we do. So that's another way to catch someone's attention. This type of a client, like they didn't say, she could have said to me, oh, wow, that's more than my other PT elsewhere, because I know that physical therapist elsewhere is not charging $550 a visit and definitely not charging $950 per month as a concierge fee. So that's another thing that's kind of, maybe you can elaborate more for me, because it's more of something that would like catch someone's attention, like in this style. Do you know what I mean? Like they would take us a little bit more seriously.
You're speaking the same language, and I was just, again, I listened to a lot of media. I was listening to a public speaker yesterday, and she was saying how when she had her first offer to do a paid public speaking event, the company that wanted to bring her in said, how much do you charge? What's your fee? We want an hour. She said $500. And in her mind, $500 was unbelievable because she was used to making $50 an hour in a W-2 paid job. And she was like, I would have done it for free. So I thought, oh, I'll 10X what I make normally and charge $500. Then the story goes, the company chose not to hire her. And they went with somebody who was charging $5,000 for the hour. And then she asked them, why did you not hire me? And she said, well, truthfully, you were only charging $500. This person's charging $5,000. We're used to paying for, $5, $10, $100, even $100,000 speaker. we can't deal with a $500 speaker, and so just by speaking the language of a wealthy individual, they don't understand those rates. Like, why would somebody who I expect to be premier, best in class, top of the line, why would they be charging so little? So you kind of have to get into that world. And then, of course, once you get there, you start to realize, oh, these zeros don't really have the same impact to them as they do to me. If anything, an extra zero just means I'm that much better, and so I think that's a huge barrier for so many clinicians, because so many are struggling day to day to just pay their loans. Like, they can't even fathom an extra zero or two on the end of what they're used to making. So I think it's awesome. And like you said, I think the whole idea behind that kind of monthly fee is it just builds in the cushion to allow you to deliver what the client actually wants. These aren't individuals that are looking for government-funded healthcare. These are individuals that have the means and the resources to get what they want well beyond what government-funded healthcare is designed to deliver. Let me pull this up real quick, because this is still kind of in line with what we were talking about. I'm going to share it. Let's see, share this instead. And let me pull it into the screen. This was shared, I know it's small, but I'll read it, in the Doctor of Physical Therapy students group. And I think this kind of goes along with the same idea. It says, hello, I'm writing out of curiosity and insight, a couple years out of PT school, working in an outpatient orthopedic setting since graduating. I was curious if anyone has any previously worked in outpatient ortho, and they've been thinking about switching into home health. I guess the main question is, has anyone been in the same boat, made the switch? What's your take, your experience on the decision? There's that, but before you answer that one, the other one, I'm going to share it. Let's see if it's showing. Yeah. This one says, recent grad, got extended a job offer in a cash-based practice. So one is an ortho PT thinking about going to home health, really because it pays more. The other one is new grad getting an offer from a cash clinic. Following successful interview process, the clinic owner, I was asked to provide a desired compensation. So first question, Dave, in negotiation, they always say, don't put the first number out there. Let the other party put the first number out there. But this person saying the clinic's hourly rate is $240 an hour. I'll be responsible for attracting patients and managing my own schedule. The clinic owner has agreed to cover malpractice, EHR, utilities, which I thought that was weird, and other expenses. They're also offering a retirement plan, health insurance. What do you think would be a fair compensation package for me to request?
Which one do you want me to hit on first?
Let's do this one, because this one's more in your world. Like, what would they be looking at?
You want a dollar amount?
Like, just, it could be a dollar amount. It could be, hey, if this practice is billing $240 a session, like, how do you even go about figuring out what you would charge?
If they're being paid hourly,
it didn't say whether it's hourly or being paid per session. I'm going to say they're probably offered a per session rate. Because it says they're responsible for attracting patients and managing their schedule.
There's no, I don't agree. There's no way. I know this is anonymous, so we can't even ask the person because they wanted to post anonymously. There's hardly any practice. I don't even care if they're cash based. If you're a cash based practice, you are not really relying on your staff physical therapist to attract new patients. So I don't think that that is a thing. I don't even like.
Why do you say that?
Because if there's a cash practice out there, they've already, and if they're hiring, that means they typically have already figured out the marketing. They already have a customer client base. For me, Tony, like when I hire new therapists, they're not doing marketing. I want their calendar to be open and available for evaluations and follow-up visits. They can't get busy unless they do evaluations. I'm not sending them out. I've considered it. I thought about it. I have some therapists that have asked about it, like, oh, do we have to do marketing or whatever? But no, I put that in my FAQ document that I send to every potential candidate. That's like 7 or 8 pages long. And I'm like, read this once or twice, and then we're going to talk for the first time. Like when we're messaging, or I message someone on LinkedIn. And in that 7-page document, one of the lines is like, one of the questions, the FAQ is like, do I need to attract and do marketing for new patients? Question mark. And then my reply is, no, we do the marketing. We're the business. That's our responsibility. We're the owner. That's our responsibility to be the PT Barnum, to drum up business. That's your responsibility, Tony. You know that. So the fact that this says the new grad team member is responsible for attracting patients. What practice anywhere is making their employees go drum up new business? That's insane.
I don't think it is. I really think there are a lot of smaller cash-based practices that expect the therapist to attract more patients. Now, I'll tell you the typical example. Usually what it is these are operating out of CrossFit gym or fitness facility or yoga studio or Pilates. They want their therapist, and I see this in personal training also. They want the therapist to go connect, network, make connections, and bring business in. I think these business owners think the value prop is, I've got the platform, you go out and get customers, bring them in, and we'll do a 50-50 or a 60-40 split. I think they think their business is so amazing that they shouldn't have to do their own recruiting and marketing and stuff like that. That a therapist who's so lucky to come work for me, it's your responsibility to go do it.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit more.
Bo said there was a few like that in Colorado.
Who said that? Bo?
Bo.
That's crazy, man. Okay, well, it's a new grad. It says, hello, I'm a recent graduate. That means respectively, because we all were there. And man, Tony, can you imagine my ego in the first 1, 2, 3 years out of school? I thought I knew everything. And then I realized, whatever the quote is, like, you realize how much you didn't know or how much you don't know. So the first couple years out of school, like, you might have a little bit of an ego, like you had rotations and you think you can fix any injury and all that. And maybe you do have great clinical skills, but as a recent grad, you're going to also require some coaching, some support. You're going to get a case, you're going to get a diagnosis, a presentation in front of you, and you're going to have no idea what to do. You're going to come out of the evaluation and be like, I don't know, I had the blur. I don't know what just happened. And I don't know if I even made a dent in their situation. So real quick, so the clinic rate, they're charging $240 a visit. If the new grad is pulling clients from CrossFit or some other, running club, or they're bringing in patients to be treated there, then I agree with you, Tony. I think maybe like a 50-50 split per hour. So the new grad therapist is making $120 an hour if you're doing a pre-tax 50-50 split on that. If the cash practice is supplying the new patients, the marketing and the malpractice and the EMR and the overhead of the practice and all that, then we're talking like 25 to 33%. We're talking about $60 to $80 per visit if a cash practice is charging $240, because ideally that would be a sweet spot. Like, the therapist is then making 25 to 33% of the top line revenue of the $240 per visit. So it depends on the marketing. If you're a practice owner out there, if you're watching this and you are making your team members attract new patients, you're teaching them how to be a business owner, and they're going to leave you and they're going to take all these patients from you. So please just go learn marketing. Go watch Alex Hormozy videos. Go watch Tony Maritato. Learn Medicare billing on YouTube and learn more about, marketing. What's Bo saying here?
Clinician gets about 44%. I agree with Dave. I think 33% at the top level if the business is bringing the client. If the business is bringing the client, 33% top level is totally reasonable. That leaves a third for profitability. That leaves a third for covering expenses and overhead. 44%, now you're starting to step into that therapist better be an asset to the business. That therapist better start building a book of business
Yeah.
They're kind of, consistently their clients are not canceling, not no showing, completing plans of care, all of that kind of stuff. But for a typical kind of, I'm a good enough therapist, I can get my patients better, my patients don't hate me. 33%, I think, is where you pretty much top out.
Right on. Agreed.
All right, we're at the 9:30 mark. Let's do parting shots. So I'll go, and then Dave, you go. I'm gonna say the biggest theme from today is understanding the balance between the business of physical therapy and the treatment, the care, the other side of physical therapy. We're all going to change. We're all going to go through evolution. I spent a lot of my 25 years focused on the patient care. It was all about the patient care. I'd go home and research. I'd read studies. I'd learn things that I didn't know. If I had a case that I didn't understand, like everything was about the patient. Now I've kind of moved past that to my passion is the business. I love the business. I love the systems of the business. I want to make the business better to support other clinicians who are more interested in focusing on the patient at this point. Doesn't matter where you are in the journey, just understand where you are and, put your time and effort into what has the greatest impact. Dave, what you got?
Love it. If you're watching and listening this far in, if you're a physical therapist out there that wants to make $100,000 and treat 4 to 6 patients per day, call us, reach out, find me. I'm easy to find on the internet. Send me an email, apply. We would love to speak with you. If you're a practice owner out there, it doesn't matter if you're in network. We do prefer a little bit more of the out-of-network cash pay models. But if you're a practice owner looking for a transition, looking for a buyer, we have practice owners reaching out to us all the time, whether they have a broker or not. If you're looking to sell 60, 70, 80% of your practice and then keep some of the upside while we grow it, reach out. If you're looking to get out 100% and you're looking to sell and go on to the next chapter of your life, reach out to us at the Fieldmaker Group or send me an email. Find me again on LinkedIn or on the internet somewhere. And that's it for me.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.